or, you know, eating, I would say, pears in August, you know, that's not good for the body. Those foods don't grow closest to your home. So how do you know if you're eating out of season or you're not eating fruits that's in season? If you shop at farmer markets, you're only eating what farmers can grow for that environment, so those fruits and vegetables are in season. If you're shopping at your local supermarket, they could have strawberries in February, like I said, and that's not going to be good for you. It's actually, your body's going to wonder what it is. It's going to treat it as foreign, and it's not going to be used in your body. Remember, melanated people, you're a conductor, so for you, it's even like it's going to break down the strength of who and what you are. So not knowing about health affects us, and in the long run, it affects us daily and dearly. I mean, look at your mother or your grandmother with the diabetes and the amputated legs. Look at some of our elders that can't see, losing their eyesight because of the diabetic or the foods. Look at the insulin that most people have to shoot themselves up with. I mean, is this a way to live? Is this very African? Is this a holistic way of being? So the idea of, you know, yeah, so we need all of it, and we need that water, we need that fire, we need that air, we need the earth. So eating from the land and eating locally is not just a new buzz or catchword. It really is saying when you eat what's closest to you and eat it in the season that it grows, and don't rely on supermarkets where farm markets, better still, grow your own food. And as Africans in diaspora, that is something we must think about from a revolutionary point of view, to be in charge of the foods that we eat, because those that control the food control the country, control the world. So we must start having better control over our foods, and that control starts with self-control. Nobody's making us go and eat at the fast food restaurants, although they are so prevalent in our communities, and that's not a coincidence. But we talk about eating from the land. I noticed that I work with women that suffer from fibroid tumors and endometriosis and all these womb issues, these uterine issues, uterine cancer, cysts, all kinds of stuff. And most of them, when they go on a program of raw foods or at least a vegan diet, they start taking a tremendous amount of sea salt baths. They actually sit in the sun, they get air baths, they eat from the land, they eat locally, they grow their own foods or eat from farmer markets. Their issues disappear without pharmaceutical drugs, without doctor's intervention, without surgery, without the cutting, the drugging, naturally. Most of them are able to retain more information, just like they blossom. You know, we are the most amazing people on the earth. And it is we think it's all these problems, you know, it's infant mortality rate, it's the killing of black men on the street by the police, it's, you know, it's the unemployment, it's the poverty, it's the food, it's the disconnection from nature, it's the not drinking enough water. I drink a gallon of water a day. It's the not getting enough sun. It's the not connecting to spirit to lead us. For a woman, it's called intuition. For a man, it's the same thing. Man might call it a nudging, a hunch, I got a feeling. Women call it intuition. When you are not eating properly, you are so disconnected from your intuition. It is intuition that built those pyramids. It is mind power, ancient mind power, that built those pyramids. It had nothing to do with Martians or anything else. And if there was a Martian, it is the extraterrestrial in you. That one that is beyond earthly, right? That we're talking about now metaphysical. We're talking about beyond the physical. We're talking about beyond earthly. We're talking about how it opens up your pituitary and pineal gland, how it opens up your third eye, so that it's not just what I could see, it's what I know is there because I know it's there because I'm connected on a spiritual level. So if the Dogons believe that we are connected to the stars and the stars is our mother and father, understanding that that is not a myth, that is not some silly African notion, that's not some old-fashioned way of thinking, then in a sense we are very much made of the same things that the stars are and that the dirt is made of, or the dust. So we are stardust, truly. And so for me, my passion is to, especially young people like you all, young people that are just starting out, we must have the fire. When we protest, that's fire. But when we eat some fire foods like apples and oranges, that's fire too. That's fire for the soul, that's fire for the body, that's fire for the mind. We must get there. We talk about this idea of being fluid, of having a flow. Prosperity and abundance comes in a flow. Prosperity and abundance comes in a wave. If we're not riding the wave, we're not taking our seesaw baths, we're not sitting by the ocean and allowing that sound to affect us and calm the biorhythms in our bodies, then we are not fighting the revolution truly. We are fighting the revolution in bites and pieces, and we must fight it whole. If we are not experiencing the earth, if we are not walking barefooted on the ground, they know that the idea is, have you ever been to the beach and you are like going to the beach and you ate or you sat around and you sat in the sun, and after a while you laid down, and when you woke up, whether it was 30 minutes later or 2 hours later, you felt like you had the best health or best rest that you ever had in your life? Do you know what that is? That really is, and this is very important, that really is what's happening is it's taking out those electromagnetic frequencies. The charge from the sand, earth, is actually pulling out the radiation that we get from cell phones, computers, cameras, pulling out the radiation. Is that amazing? Pulling out the radiation from our bodies, and that's the true sleep that we're supposed to have all of the time. So I have some questions for you. Be honest, young person. Are you truly feeling at your optimum health every single day? Do you feel like you easily retain information? I say retain, not enough just to pass your test, and after that, you can't remember a thing. You're spending a lot of money on your education. You need to be remembering what you learned and being able to pass it down to our children. Legacies. Legacies is not just passing down money and finances, which are very important. Legacy is also passing down knowledge and wisdom that can be passed down again and again. You know, our ancestors during the enslavement Holocaust, which is slavery, they had less resources during that time, but the resource they had was the stories that they told, the stories and the fables and the myths, if you will, or the legends that kept each generation going. Things that had real meaning, that told us about being healthy and having great marriages, being kind and loving, also when to fight and be fierce. We've lost that. We've lost our connection to everything that is divine and natural. And so being in a society or an academic environment, you more than anybody needs to think about your air, your fire, your earth, and your water. And air is the ability to move fluidly, fluidly, I know that sounds like water, but air is the ability to move, to be moved, to not be stagnant, to not stay in one place. If we're not having oxygenated foods, how do we think? How do we breathe? How does our heart beat? How do we do any of that? You know, the idea of, let me just tell you my routine. Every day I get up about 5 in the morning. I do womb yoga, so I do some beautiful yoga. I actually lift dumbbells, so I lift weights afterwards. I drink my first quart of water. After that, I run about 2 to 3 miles. Then I do some squats and also lunges. Then I come back and take a long 1-hour sea salt bath with essential oils of lavender or different ones. 1 hour, I am clearing my chakras. These are energy centers within the body. I am using the breath of fire. I am using the element of water, being in it. I am using the salt, so that represents the earth. And I'm also using the air because I'm burning a candle at times, or even the fragrance that's left from the aromatherapy of the essential oils. I am meditating, I am visualizing, I'm asking the Creator to bring me, to open up my intuition, to help me stay connected. My business is very successful. I have a 6-figure business. I went from a woman, a mother on welfare with an EBT card, which is food stamps, and cash aid for several years. I started my YouTube channel, again, 30,000 subscribers. It was 7 years ago. I became Raw. After I became Raw, people was really admiring my skin and everything else, and they wanted to know what I use on my skin, and I told them that I make my own beauty products. I use bentonite clay, which acts as an adaptogen. What is an adaptogen? It goes into the clay itself, the minerals go into the body, and anything that needs to be healed, it heals it. It finds the problem and fixes it. Now that's very African. I started using shea butter. Shea butter is a natural protection from the sun. Shea butter gets rid of psoriasis, eczema, skin tags, dry skin, It also, again, protects you from your sun, and it's an edible product as well as clay. If you can't eat it, don't put it on your skin. I use actually black soap. Black soap, shea butter comes from a tree. Black soap comes from plantain peels and other things, barks. And black soap actually cleans and goes down into the pores and cleans where the problem starts from the beginning. So when you have skin eruptions, which are pimples or some type of acne, it's not what you're trying to treat the outside when it's coming from the inside. And a black soap helps to rid and go underneath those pores and clean it out. I use aloe vera. Aloe vera is known as a major clean out. It's great for the sister's yoni, and it's great for the man's lingam, and it's actually very nourishing, healing, and cleansing. So I started creating products. People started asking me to make products for them. It became a very successful business. I went from food stamps and cachet, maybe totaling $500 a month, to making about $5,000 a month. Eventually, I started doing one-on-one counseling, helping people to become raw foodists, vegans, and or vegetarian. After that, I started teaching people how to be goddesses and to heal naturally and to rid themselves of multiple sclerosis, fibroid tumors, lupus, uterine cancers, and all through natural remedies. And eventually I started doing one-on-one speaking engagements. I just am the recipient of the first annual Black Power Award for Health and Wellness. Again, I'll say it again. I'm the recipient just of November 6th. We'll let the plane go by. As of November 6th, I am the first annual recipient of the Black Power Award for Health and Wellness. I spoke at Natural Hair Mag's Natural Health and Hair Summit in Atlanta, Georgia. The awards was in Atlanta, Georgia, but this was in Atlanta, Georgia in October. I spoke about the benefits of health and wellness and transformation. I also spoke at the Soul Festival, the Vegan Soul Festival in Oakland, California. Again, speaking on transformation and how a vegan diet and raw diet can do that. So I spoke at colleges, universities. I worked in the Oakland Unified School District, teaching after-school programs of rites of passage, drama therapy, dance therapy. Also, I started, headed, led, and worked at many Afrocentric or African-centered alternative schools. One was called Luxor Academy in Oakland, California. Another one was called Black Roots, and then School of Unique Awareness. Another one, which is still here, Ile Omade, been around for 30 years. And another one called African Alliance, the first school I started with. So I've been around. And the liberation of our people, as Queen Afua says, a beautiful, wonderful health practitioner out of Brooklyn, New York, she says liberation through purification. Liberation through purification. Liberation through purification using air, fire, water, earth, and ether. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and I feel very blessed to be able to share this with you. So I love you. You can get in touch with me. My Facebook is Blackberry Beauty Academy. My Instagram is Blackberry Beauty Academy. My Twitter is Queen Lisa Marie. My website is www.the, which is the Blackberry Beauty. And my Gmail is www.theblackberrybeauty. And you can find me on YouTube, again, at Blackberry Beauty Academy. I have over 1,000 videos talking everything from vegan, vegetarian, raw foods, healing of the womb, exercises, everything you could think of from a Black African perspective. Thank you so much for listening. I think I covered everything. I hope I did. And I want to tell you how much I love you. I love Black folks. And my mission on life is to bring us into the light, to Sankofa, to go back and fetch what was lost and bring it back anew. This is Lisa Marie Goodson of the Blackberry Beauty Transformative Academy, ancient African wisdom and healing for the modern sister. Peace and blessings.